Chapter 241, Huangjin Mountain. It is him. He. Heaven has opened its eyes. Brother Chang and his group's gazes turned bright with excitement upon Fang Yuan's figure. I can't wait to see his arm break. Lady Zhang is kind. He wasn't put to execution even after offending the Zhang clan. It turns out they were waiting to send him here. Fang Yuan walked slowly towards the stone table and directly sat down. The Monkey King gazed at him, then stretched its arm. The two sides clasped their palms together and began the contest under countless gazes. The Monkey King exerted its strength, but Fang Yuan's arm was like it was made from steel and didn't budge even a little. The Monkey King's pupil shrunk, revealing a hint of astonishment. This was the strongest human it had met in its life. Fang Yuan inwardly laughed. I could defeat this Monkey King even when I only possessed strength of 2 boars, let alone now when my strength has increased by half of a crocodile's strength. The Monkey King had already gone through many rounds before, and it was already lacking in strength now. One could say this situation was of an absolute victory to Fang Yuan. This Monkey King doesn't have enormous strength. Before, those Gu masters who possessed strength of a bear or strength of a horse had ended up losing to it. It wasn't because their strength was inferior to the Monkey King's, but rather because they couldn't bring out all their strength in arm wrestling. In fact, all strength type Gu like bear strength, horse strength, rabbit strength, fish strength, tortoise strength, crocodile strength were different. This difference wasn't only in the amount of their strength, but was more on their fields of expertise. Bear strength for smacking, horse strength for galloping, rabbit strength for jumping, tortoise strength for endurance, crocodile strength for biting. They each had their own fields of expertise that in other words, in certain situations, some types of powers could be utilized to their maximum effects. As for arm wrestling, it focused on the strength of arms. The bandit monkeys were experts regarding this. One could tell just from looking at their physique, with their upper limbs being over 2 times thicker than their lower limbs. They could arm wrestle from their birth, possessing the foundation of strength training. But if the arm wrestling was changed to another form of contest, many of the defeated Gu masters might be able to win against the bandit Monkey King. From this, one could derive that every power possessed their own unique points, and they couldn't simply be differentiated by looking at the amount of their strength. Take humans, for example. A punch would definitely be weaker than a kick. Under normal condition, a person cannot use all their strength. I have strength of 2 boars, half of a crocodile's strength and my own strength, but it is impossible for my arm wrestling strength to match theirs. Of course, concentrating all of one's strength in one movement is not impossible. One would need that legendary Gu worm. Fang Yuan couldn't display his true strength in arm wrestling, but he was someone with very deep foundations and could guarantee his victory. However, he couldn't make it blatantly obvious. Hence, he intentionally revealed a strained expression, his arms shaking as he maintained the deadlock with the Monkey King. Slowly, his arm pushed down on Monkey King's. When the contest ended, almost everyone was stumped. He actually won. This guy has innate divine strength. The human groups were in an uproar, their surprised gasps spreading to others. Inquire about this guy. We need to immediately recruit him if possible. The heads of main clans felt a rush of excitement. Compared to the Gu masters who they could only nurture after investing large amounts of funds, Fang Yuan's quality-to-price ratio was much higher. They could use him without any investment and bring in profits for their caravan. Zhang clan's luck is good, picking up such a treasure. Instantly, many Gu masters' gazes towards the Zhang clan contained some envy. No wonder we couldn't beat him. Brother Chang and his group were speechless. This is a monster. Now that I think of it, I am really lucky to not have been beaten to death by him. As this group of servants thought back, they were immediately filled with after fear. They had previously still been looking to take revenge against Fang Yuan, but now looking at this sight, all their hopes of revenge were gone. On the contrary, they became worried that Fang Yuan would look for trouble for them in future. Chen clan's old steward's expression looked ugly. To think this idiot actually had such brute strength. What bad luck. Now if only the vice leader doesn't blame me. He cautiously glanced at the Klen clan's vice leader. Chen clan's vice leader was frowning. He was thinking of much more that he started to doubt Zhang clan's intention. Was demanding for those two a trap? Did they see this servant's worth and intentionally kept him, then came to demand for them? The more he thought, the more reasonable he felt his thoughts were. He couldn't help snorting coldly. Anyone who felt he was played with and cheated wouldn't have a good mood. But the mistake was already done. He could only pinch his nose and endure this bad luck. Am I seeing things? The servant girl Xiao Dai covered her mouth. She was speechless at this result. Worry disappeared from Fang Yuan's face and was replaced by a smile. Let's go. Zhang Zhu waved at the troops to move ahead with a complex look on his eyes. Fang Yuan won, allowing Zhang clan's caravan to pass through this checkpoint. Fang Yuan won 2 rounds straight. The Zhang clan's caravan were able to pass through most of the path. At the 3rd round, Fang Yuan intentionally lost to keep up his disguise, resulting in many goods being taken out of Zhang clan's wagons. Even so, Fang Yuan's performance was enough to make others see him in a whole new light. He received a warm welcome back at the caravan. Lady Zhang, I have finished my mission. He cupped his hands to Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's beautiful eyes shone as she sized up Fang Yuan again and said with a gentle voice, My mother said to never judge people by their appearances. And hey too, you have given me a live example. I am really thankful to you. This is 150 primeval stones as my thanks to you. 150 primeval stones. The servant girl Xiao Dai was startled. Miss, what are you doing giving him so much? Fang Yuan backed a step and righteously declined. Lady, I did it to repay your kindness and not for these primeval stones. Please take them back. I can't take this reward. Xiao Dai immediately agreed. Miss, look, he doesn't want it. It is better if you put it away. Fang Yuan, however, insisted. This isn't a reward, but a gift of thanks, my thanks to you. Fang Yuan showed a righteous expression and said with a solemn tone, Let alone this 150 primeval stones. Even if it was 1,000 primeval stones, I don't want them. Lady Zhang, I may only be a mortal, but please don't humiliate me. This, Fang Yuan was helpless against such remark and could only put the primeval stones back. Humph, you know how to be tactful. Xiao Dai quirked her mouth. Zhang Zhu remained silent, his gaze turning more complicated. The favor of repaying life is hard to repay. Please let me use my strength for you. Fang Yuan cupped his hands. There were numerous monkey groups in Bandit Monkey Mountain, and every so often along the trade route, there would be some monkey groups who would occupy the area and set a checkpoint. Fang Yuan repeatedly went to compete with them, and under his deliberate performance, he lost some and won some. Caravans moved and stopped continuously, spending over 20 days in Bandit Monkey Mountain before they got out of this tall mountain. The goods in the caravans had decreased by almost half by now. The mood couldn't help being low. Zhang clan was the only one that was happy. Because of Fang Yuan's strength, their losses were far less than their previous estimations. Fang Yuan became famous, and many clans sent their servants to visit him. They all wanted to recruit Fang Yuan and gave attractive terms, but Fang Yuan refused all of them and stayed with Zhang clan. You have some conscience, kid. You didn't waste Missy's kindness. Xiao Dai's attitude towards Fang Yuan had changed. This servant girl said whatever she thought and wasn't shrewd, but whatever her attitude is, it was never in Fang Yuan's considerations. Fang Yuan only cared about Fang Yuan and her guard Zhang Zhu. Fang Yuan was gentle and kind, but also very smart. The Gu master Zhang Zhu was very experienced and prudent. Fang Yuan even felt that Zhang Zhu was already beginning to suspect him. In private, Bai Ningbing also reminded Fang Yuan. Refusing that 150 primeval stones was a mistake. With your current identity, how could your heart not be moved by such a huge sum? For cautiousness, we should stop cultivation for some time to guard against Zhang Zhu's secret investigation. However, Fang Yuan refused this suggestion and still cultivated nonstop every night. Bai Ningbing also cooperated. She held an indifferent attitude towards her identity being exposed. In fact, she was more willing to see Fang Yuan's defeat. Snow Silver Primeval Essence gave an enormous help to Fang Yuan. His cultivation speed was rising as if it had grown wings on the night they had officially left Fei, Ho Mountains region. Fang Yuan advanced from rank 2 initial stage to middle stage. By the time the travel-worn caravan arrived at the base of Huangjin Mountain, Fang Yuan was finished with the crocodile. Strength Gu, his strength permanently increasing by the strength of a crocodile, Huangjin Mountain possessed a lot of gold mines. Its soil contained abundant gold, and one could even obtain dozens of granules of gold if they scooped the water from the mountain streams and filtered the sediments in day. When the sun shone upon the Huangjin Mountain, the mountain would often reflect a layer of hazy golden light. The scene of the mountain surrounded by the light was a glorious beauty. If this Huangjin Mountain was to be on Earth, there would definitely be bloody fights and wars for it. However, in this world, the currency used was the primeval stone, and gold was reduced to just a type of metal mineral. Its greatest use was as a material for refining goo. There were two clans located in Huangjin Mountain. In the southern side of the mountain was Huang Village, and in the northern side was Jin Village. A mountain can't hold two tigers. One could infer from Qingmao Mountain that the relation between Huang and Jin clan was not harmonious. The caravan's arrival would naturally be welcomed by both the clans. However, the notice from the two clans arrived. The caravan could only choose one clan. If they chose Huang clan, they couldn't go to Jin clan, and the same went for opposite. There were many people in caravan with many things to do. Thus, there was always a large flow of traffic. There were notorious records of the two clans attacking each other with the help of caravans. Thus, they laid down strict orders. The heads of the caravans had different opinions about choosing which clans to go. They had their own needs and considerations. And so, after discussing with each other, this co-agglomeration of caravans divided into two. The two groups would go separately to the two clans. Of course, they couldn't enter the village. Most of the troops could only station around the village. After this was settled, Zhangzhu privately looked for Shang Xinci. I have secretly investigated for many days. He Tu and Bai Yun are very suspicious. I suggest we evict them from our group. Chapter 242. Common understanding between smart people. Suspicious? Shang Xinci's gaze flickered under her thick eyelashes. Zhangzhu nodded and said solemnly, "In fact, I had my doubts about them ever since we entered Feihou Mountain. Miss, you gave them 150 primeval stones, but they weren't moved at all by such a huge sum. This really makes one ponder." He paused for a moment and continued, "I have been secretly investigating them these days and found even more suspicious points. First of all, they have little to no communication with the servants around them, as if they were wishing to be invisible. Second, they refused the recruitment offers of many clans, even though the terms were excellent. Miss, do you still remember his appearance when he came to ask help from us that night? Hey, too, that guy has such powerful strength. How could he be wounded by others into such state? And finally, from my observation, his companion is wearing male clothing, but is actually a woman." The camp was filled with silence. After a long while, Shang Xinci smiled. "Powerful strength doesn't mean he can definitely win against others, right? Two fists can't rival four palms. Hey, two getting wounded was normal. Actually, I know about all these suspicious points you spoke of." Zhangzhu wasn't surprised at all. He understood Shang Xinci and knew of her intelligence. "Miss." Shang Xinci blinked, her face containing a gentle and charming smile. "Uncle Zhangzhu, you have felt stifled for so many days, right? Seeing that I didn't take actions to deal with this, you came to remind me today." Zhangzhu smiled. "I can't conceal anything from you. But why are you still keeping them by your side?" "Because I felt no ill intent from them." Shang Xinci's eyes shone with a wise light. "We became suspicious of them at the Feihou Mountain, and if they hadn't stood up at that time, we wouldn't have been able to feel any suspicion. But why did they still take a risk? Wasn't it to help me? If they had harbored treacherous schemes, they would definitely stay hidden and watch the show from the side, right? Or maybe receive that 150 primeval stones. But they didn't. When Heitu said he was repaying my kindness, his expression was sincere, and I could tell that he was speaking the truth. He really wanted to repay this favor." Shang Xinci said. Zhangzhu was tongue-tied for a long while. "But they aren't simple. They definitely have secrets." A smile blossomed in Shang Xinci's face like a flower. "Everyone has secrets. I also have them. Does having secrets make one a bad person? This world is bright. As someone who knows how to repay kindness, there has to be a limit to how bad he can be, right? That might be so, but I can't help but wonder what their motives are. Maybe they are plotting something. Wait, I know. They must be accomplices of some bandits. They joined the caravan and are planning to rob it by cooperating with demonic path figures. That doesn't make sense." Shang Xinci shook her head. "If they were accomplices, they should have even more reason to stay hidden. Why would they expose themselves in Feihou Mountain? So many people tried to recruit them. They could just join other groups, and it wouldn't be any less easier to hide themselves. Why did they decide to stick with us? I feel they have definitely been through some suffering. We helped them, and they are repaying us. Now, they want to hide their identities. I think we should help them. Zhang Zhu sighed while shaking his head. Miss, why are you always thinking about others? One must know to guard against others, Uncle Zhang Zhu. Shang Xinci said, if we are really robbed, please don't go fight to protect the goods. If the goods are gone, then they are gone. It is not a big problem. My mother's final wish was for me to bring a token to someone in Shangclan City. However, she also said if that person didn't accept us, we should continue living through these goods. My mother passed away swiftly. She didn't manage to convey who is the person I am supposed to look for. But I think wealth are just worldly possessions. Mother has already left me. You and Xiao Dai are my only remaining relatives. I don't want to see you guys meeting any mishaps. Miss, never say that. Zhang Zhu's eyes were red with emotions. Come, take a look. Honest and real Shinjia silk. All kinds of fine liquors. I welcome everyone to taste them. Golden Shigu, selling for just 50 primeval stones. The temporary market was a hubbub of conversations and hawkers selling out their wares as people moved to and fro. Whenever a caravan by, it would be like a festive moment for the clans. In the temporary market, not only the caravan was selling their wares, some Jin clansmen were also selling their goods. The goods they were selling were mainly golden statues or tools. There were pots, cups, ladles, and basins. Their profound sculpting skills were shown in the lifelike statues of animals and people. And with red, green, yellow, and blue gems or pearls as complements, the statues looked even more exquisite. Huangjin Mountain was a place blessed by heavens with gold found everywhere in it. The people living here. Even the poor slaves were wearing some accessories like golden rings and golden necklaces. Hairpins, earrings, and bracelets worn by many girls were shining with golden luster, looking very beautiful. They were chatting with each other in groups in beautiful voices which was fresh and innocent. As for the Gu masters of the Jin clan, their uniforms were similar to Qingmao Mountains, short sleeves, long pants, belts, leg wrappings, and green bamboo shoes. It was just that some were using golden rope as leg wrappings. Belts, cloth cuffs, or pants were all rimmed in gold. This was Huangjin Mountain's characteristic. The clans of the southern border had basically the same attires. The demonic Gu masters, however, wore all sorts of bizarre dresses. Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing were moving through the crowd. They had already bought some cow and goat milk from 3 to 4 Jin clansmen. Fang Yuan had tried his best to feed all the Bone Spear Gu. But even so, 2/3 of the Bone Spear Gu were already dead from starvation. Aren't you afraid your such big reckless purchasing will expose our identities? Bai Ningbing expressed his doubt. As long as one uses disguise, they will definitely be exposed one day. I don't have a thing to worry about, but you have too big of a flaw. Fang Yuan glanced at Bai Ningbing and said. Bai Ningbing snorted coldly. She knew what her flaw was. Her gender. Even the old lady at the hamlet could see it. Women and men have physiological differences. This could be disguised, but that required a special Gu worm which Bai Ningbing didn't have. Thus, even if she was wearing loose clothes, covering her face with a straw hat, smearing her body with ash and binding her chest, her gender would no doubt be revealed as time passed by. Fang Yuan continued. So, rather than cover the truth, it would be better to reveal some things on our own initiative and let the others set their minds at rest. Thinking. They have seen through us and have the situation in their control. Exposing oneself was not always a bad thing. One could only receive trust when they revealed their identities. Fang Yuan couldn't reveal his cards by himself. Doing so would be too unnatural and not be in harmony with their previous behavior, only when the other side discovered and probed. Could Fang Yuan take the opportunity to conveniently reveal some stuff? Bai Ningbing understood. So you were intentionally waiting for them to discover before responding? You have finally become smart. Humph. However, 3 days passed by, and the response and probing Fang Yuan expected had still not arrived. Bai Ningbing finally got the opportunity to take a dig at Fang Yuan. So you also have times when you were wrong. Fang Yuan snorted while pondering inwardly. I could see from Zhang Zhu's expression and manners that he was already suspicious of us. He didn't go into it deeply and restrained himself, most likely because there could be danger at any time on the road. But now that the caravan has arrived at Jin Clan, the situation is very safe, and he should have already begun his probing. Unless Shang Xinci's figure appeared in Fang Yuan's mind. Truly smart and also bold. She's mostly likely the one that stopped Zhang Zhu. It's a little problematic. Seems like being too smart can also be a problem. Fang Yuan heaved a sigh. Shang Xinc's gentleness and kindness had made a deep impact on him, making him slightly underestimate this girl's intelligence. Shang Xinci wanted to reach an understanding between smart people with Fang Yuan. She was clearly trying to play dumb. However, Fang Yuan had a different motive, and this layer of understanding had instead turned into an obstacle. Since it is so, I will just take the initiative. Fang Yuan sighed and went to find Shang Xinci. You want to form a partnership with me? Inside a tent, Shang Xinci and Zhang Zhu were wearing surprised expressions when Fang Yuan revealed his intentions. They hadn't gone to look for these two, but these two instead came knocking on their door. This was slightly beyond the young girl's expectations. Zhang Zhu's mind shook. You finally showed your true colors? Partnership. Humph. Lady Zhang, I am a bit ashamed to say it, but we need primeval stones and I regard myself to be somewhat knowledgeable about merchants. I want to borrow a batch of goods, and we will divide the profits we earn in half. How about it? Fang Yuan slightly bowed his body, appearing neither servile nor overbearing. You don't have any primeval stones and are as poor as a mouse, yet you want to borrow the chicken that lays egg? You are overconfident. Zhang Zhu's gaze carried a cold light. Why do you think you will definitely earn profits? And on what basis do you think our Zhang clan will lend the goods to you? There will naturally be profits and losses in business. I also can't guarantee the profits. As to your second question, I think Lady Zhang is a good person and should lend the goods to me, right? You wanted to ask of my reason. I can only answer you that it is this feeling. If this feeling is wrong, then please consider this matter never happened. Fang Yuan answered with a smile. He was one ear less and his whole body was covered with burns, making him appear terrifying when he smiled. However, Shang Xinci looked at him and saw in him a kind of confidence, decisiveness, and a radiance of careful planning. This radiance emitted a different type of charisma, penetrating through the ugly appearance. Interesting, it seems he also sensed our suspicions, so he wanted to reach a tacit understanding with me? Shang Xinc's gaze continued to flash. After a short while, she laughed. This kind of frank communication style made her feel an indescribable safety and also a feeling of freshness. If you hadn't been there, there wouldn't even be a quarter of goods remaining. They would have already been snatched by those monkeys in Feihou Mountain. Since you have this notion, I will hand over these goods to you. She said. If the servant girl Shaodai were here, she might have started making a big fuss. Fang Yuan showed an expression of being in a daze for a while, before he bowed to show his thanks. Miss, this. When Fang Yuan left the tent, Zhang Zhu couldn't endure it anymore. Shang Xinci blinked mischievously like a child. Isn't this interesting? Did you hear what he said just now? He hadn't even started on the business, but was already talking of sharing the profits in half. His tone was as if the profits were certain. Humph, he is but a boor. How much talent could he have? Zhang Zhu disdainfully scoffed. If we talk about business talent, who could compare to Miss? I still remember how you have managed the properties all these years and expanded them. If it were not for the envy of those petty people in Zhang clan. All right, what is the use of talking about the past? Since Uncle Zhang Zhu believes in my talent, then you should trust me. Even if He Tu squanders these goods, I could still rebuild the business from scratch. Isn't that right? Shang Xinci said. Of course. Zhang Zhu said without hesitation. Chapter 243, Benefits Sent Towards Oneself. There are so much goods, it won't be cheap. It'll require at least 50,000 primeval stones. Jin Clan's Gu Master looked at Fang Yuan in suspicion. After getting approval from Shang Xinci, Fang Yuan immediately found a few Jin Clan Gu Masters. This was already the 6th. I do not have primeval stones. Fang Yuan shook his head, but I can use my goods to exchange for yours. Exchange. The Gu Master's eyebrows rose. He was not surprised as it was common to barter, especially in the caravan. To him, there was no loss in bartering as long as the value was about the same. What will you use to exchange? Fang Yuan brought him to the goods immediately. Jin Clan's Gu Master frowned. Your goods are cheaper than mine, but you can get a good price for it on this Huangjin mountain. Am I wrong? Fang Yuan laughed. Jin Clan Gu Master frowned even deeper. If the price is set too high, we won't be able to sell it. Then sell it slowly. It'll be sold eventually. Goods are more expensive when they are rare. By then you will be sitting at home collecting your earnings. Fang Yuan smiled. The Gu Master laughed. The reason he talked so much was only to lower the price. His heart was moved long ago. You are not bad at all. As a mortal, you are neither haughty nor humble. I have 3 stores. Are you interested in working for me? I can give you the position of shopkeeper. Your wages can also be further discussed. The Gu master patted Fang Yuan's shoulders. Fang Yuan rejected politely. The Gu master felt a little pity. Hey Tu, what have you done? After the transaction was over, Xiao Dai ran over with a frosty expression. You exchanged all the goods? What are you trying to do? You were too bold. Xiao Dai stomped her foot in anger. Do you know these goods were all chosen by Missy after much consideration? After we transport them to Shangclan City, we can sell them for twice the amount. Quick, exchange them back now. Fang Yuan's expression turned cold. Your Missy has already lent all the goods to me, which is to say, these belong to me. Humph, I am dealing with my own goods. Is there a problem? Fang Yuan's gaze swept through Xiao Dai. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Xiao Dai instantly felt a chill that made her heart palpitate. Fang Yuan had decided to expose a little more and thus putting on such a strong attitude against Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai was witty and eloquent all along, but now, a cold feeling crept up her heart. You. I will tell Missy, watch out. She tried her best to hide her inner emotions, but still left frantically. Her report naturally caused no disturbance to Fang Yuan, but the servants that Shang Xinci brought along had much opinions about Fang Yuan's actions. Many discussed secretly, thinking this He Tu had gone crazy. Fang Yuan knew the value of these goods and could sense Shang Xinci's business talent. But this was her first time doing business. Her experience was very lacking even though she had talent. Business was not just transporting goods to the destination and earning profits from the price difference. A true expert merchant earned along the way as well. Using their keen foresight to explore new opportunities, learning about the specialty of each mountains, and tailoring to the needs of each clan, they built networks as they profited from all those around them. Of course, these requirements were too high for the current Shang Xinci. She had just turned 16. Although she had talent, she was still a fresh young girl. Fang Yuan spent about 100 years in his past life doing trade. He joined caravans and even became a leader. He also opened his own shops, including rock gambling and even auctions. When it came to experience and foresight, those leaders and vice leaders in the caravan could not hold a candle to Fang Yuan, let alone the inexperienced Shang Xinci. There is still a distance to Shangliang Mountain. If I manipulate this wholeheartedly, I can at least increase the value of these goods by 7 or 8 times. This profit margin was terrifying. Any higher and even Fang Yuan could do it. Due to actual circumstances, 7 to 8 times was the limit of this world. Of course, if I use unorthodox methods, not just 7 or 8, I can easily jack it up by 70 or 80 times. Thinking so, Fang Yuan could not help but think of a poem on earth, obeying the law and living in constant worry. Bandits live in pleasure every night. Those who harm others to benefit themselves ride horses, while those who are righteous and fair starve in hunger. Those who build bridges and repair roads go blind, while those who murder and cause arson have many offsprings. When I died, I asked Buddha. Buddha said, there was nothing I could do. Haha, the so-called system and law was to deprive the masses and limit the weak. Whichever world it was, the law of the jungle prevailed. Thus, even during an era ruled by law, countless rich and influential people found loopholes and avoided the judgment of the law. Not to mention this Gu world, where strength was everything one needed to exert influence. In Fang Yuan's previous life, he once did business with all his heart, having millions of assets and countless properties. But later, some experts casually usurped them, causing him to go bankrupt and living in the streets. For the next 400 years of his life, whenever he thought back to it, he was extremely glad he had such an experience. Only through pain can one learn about the truth. Precisely because of this experience, he woke up from his delusions and broke free of the restraints that bound him while living in the lawful society of Earth. Humans were often blinded not by the sight before them, but by the chains in their hearts. To Fang Yuan, if he abided by morals of business and be a proper businessman, he could only earn 7 to 8 times the profit. But if he used some illegal methods, becoming an unscrupulous merchant, he could make over tenfold worth of profits. If he abandoned his position and lied and scammed, becoming a dishonest trader, he could make tens of times of profits. If he directly murdered and robbed, he would not even need a capital. Business without investing capital was always the most profitable, but Fang Yuan had other objectives doing business now. Thus, methods that broke the rules could not be used, and this caused him to have some feeling of restraint. However, the night before the caravan set off, a Jin Clan Gu master secretly approached him. There is a secret deal we want to make. Are you interested? This Gu master was one of those who traded with Fang Yuan earlier. Fang Yuan did not mind it. But after a few minutes, he changed his ideas. You were saying, someone wants to sell jeans on grass? He was extremely surprised, almost suspecting that he had heard wrongly. To Jean Clan, jeans on grass could not be replaced with other materials. It was an important war resource. It was exactly because it could be used as a refinement material that Jean Clan could produce large numbers of golden silkworm goo. But now someone wanted to sell it. In Fang Yuan's memories, it was because Jean Clan had large numbers of the rank 3 golden silkworm goo that their battle strength rose rapidly, thus eliminating Huang Clan and becoming the controller of the area. Wait a minute, Huang Clan still exists now. This means Jean Clan has not fully manufactured the recipe for the golden silkworm goo? That shouldn't be it. By this time they should have some ideas already, otherwise why would they mass plant jeans on grass? Fang Yuan's thoughts moved like lightning. He probed. I'm about done with trading goods. The jeans on grass is an unpopular material. Although it is rare, little people need it. Seeing Fang Yuan reject, the goo master panicked. The price can be further discussed. Why don't we have a good talk about it? Fang Yuan's gaze shone. Seeing the other party was very anxious, he started to lower the price. After an intense bargaining, the jeans on grass price had been lowered to a horrifying degree. The goo master's face paled. His expression turned ugly and his tone became irritated. You win. We'll go with this price. Can we complete the deal now? This price was very low, even lower than the cost of nurturing the jeans on grass. If they sold it, it truly was making a loss. The Jean Clan goo master knew this, and so his heart bled. Fang Yuan also knew this was the limit, but he still shook his head. This price is too low. To speak the truth, your attitude makes me feel uncertain. The Jean Clan goo master instantly exploded. You were the one who lowered the price, now you're finding it too low? Fang Yuan shrugged. You said it earlier. This is a private transaction. There is no hard evidence. What if you sell me fake goods? Who would I find then? You see, the caravan is leaving tomorrow. By then, even if I made a loss, I have no choice but to leave. Your suspicions are valid. Jean Clan goo master's anger subsided. Don't worry about the goods. They are definitely real. To tell you the truth, this is secretly sold by our young master. Fang Yuan's eyes shone brilliantly. He had finally received some useful information. He pretended to be shocked. Your young master stole it? These jeans on grass is a vegetation loved by the clan leader, purposely growing 3 acres of it. But we can't do anything about it since our clan leader has a unique interest. So do not worry. The jeans on grass is nothing important. The son taking his father's things to sell. Even if it is discovered, he will only be scolded. The goo master said. Fang Yuan immediately understood everything. So it was like this. Jean Clan had already been trying to fix the recipe for the golden silkworm goo. At this point, they had a rough idea already and were thus growing 3 acres of jeans on grass. But to prevent unwanted attention from Huang Clan, this information was kept among the higher-ups of the clan. Even the young master did not know. Only thinking that this grass was planted out of interest. The jeans on grass growth period was very long, needing 4 years to mature. In his memory, Jean Clan launched their attack a year later. They used the rank 3 golden silkworm goo, which had sharp offensive strength, to eliminate Huang Clan and dominate Huang Jean Mountain. If this 3 acres of jeans on grass was gone, they won't be able to find that much on the market either. Then to eliminate Huang Clan, Jean Clan would need to waste a few more years. Evidently, this jeans on grass was a dangerous item. If he really bought it, it would be provoking this large Jean Clan. An ordinary person would avoid it like the plague. But Fang Yuan saw a huge opportunity from it. This profit, although dangerous, since it was delivered to him with both hands, how could he reject it? To speak the truth, although Fang Yuan possessed the heavenly essence treasure lotus, he still had a need for primeval stones, and it wasn't a small amount he needed. When they reached the Shangclan city, he needed to purchase goo worms, and that required a lot of primeval stones. Relying on the heavenly essence treasure lotus's daily production was troublesome and insufficient. That young master is definitely a wastrel. He is probably doted by the clan leader, but is in need of money recently. Thus he set his eyes on the jeans on grass. He. Thinking so, Fang Yuan couldn't help but laugh. If he took this profit, not only would it help in purchasing goo worms, it would also leave a deep impression on Shang Xinci. It was simply killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Jean Clan goo master saw Fang Yuan smile and laughed. So, you agree? Of course. Fang Yuan looked at him. Once this deal went through, this guy would definitely be in trouble. But what does his trouble have to do with me? What Fang Yuan was considering now was how to swallow this profit without choking himself. Chapter 244, Almost Blackmail. Dawn was breaking in the east, revealing the first rays of light. The cold air of the night had condensed into dewdrops on the grass and leaves. The temporary market in the Jin clan was currently being dismantled. The tents were packed up, the carpets on the street stalls were rolled up, and the goods were packed in bags. After having stayed in the Jin village for many days, the caravan was preparing to set off as for the merchants. No matter how many goods they sold or bought, they would be making profits eventually. Thus, though they were exhausted, they were wearing cheerful smiles on their faces. Xiao Dai's expression, however, was horrible. "Missy, I just checked. That He too has exchanged almost all the goods. And in the goods he exchanged for, I saw 3 carts filled with Jinzan grass." Jinzan grass. Shang Xinc's long brows slightly furrowed. Xiao Dai was extremely angry as she pulled Shang Xinci by her hand. "Even a layman like me knows how worthless Jinzan grass is, but he has exchanged for so many of them. Missy, this He too is simply making a trouble." "Xiao Dai, calm down first." Shang Xinci patted Xiao Dai's hand. "He should have exchanged for this Jinzan grass yesterday night. I don't know why he did that, but he must have a reason for exchanging other goods. Just think, it is already pretty good that he could accomplish this as a mortal." "Missy, why are you standing up for him? I am only thinking for you. These goods were originally ours. Why would you let others squander it for nothing? Most importantly, he can't compensate us at all." "Lord Zhangzhu, please persuade Missy," Xiao Dai pouted. Zhangzhu, who was looking on from the side, sighed. "Miss, Xiao Dai is right. We lent the goods to him to test him, but now that we can already see the results, why are we still letting him squander them? We believe in your ability, miss, but if we can decrease our losses, why are we not doing so? It will also decrease our struggles when we reach Shang Clan City." "This," Shang Xinci mumbled. She was young. Her eyes started showing signs of hesitation. Previously, she had felt the goods exchanged by Fang Yuan was all right. However, this Jinzan grass, it was a great loss to exchange for so much Jinzan grass. Jinzan grass was easy to preserve, but it simply couldn't be sold as the demand for it was almost non-existent. Such a large stockpile would rot sooner or later, and finally, they would have no choice but to cut down the price and sell the stock. It was destined to make a loss. "Excuse me, are you Lady Zhang Xinci?" Just then, a middle-aged Gu master who was sweating profusely anxiously ran toward Shang Xinci. The iron plate on his belt was carved with number 2, showing the rank of this Gu master. Shang Xinci gave a slight smile. "Yes, I am. May I inquire who you are?" The middle-aged man cupped his fists. "I am the personal guard of Lord Clan Leader, here on his command to ask for a favor." "Oh, please speak." "Lady Zhang should have bought a large batch of Jinzan grass yesterday night. The whole story is like this. Our clan leader is very passionate for Jinzan grass, and so he personally raised some for pleasure. But the young master secretly dug them out and sold them behind the clan leader's back. Now, clan leader has placed the young master in confinement and also wishes to buy back the Jinzan grass. I sincerely request you to sell them back to us." This Gu master was polite, but that politeness carried his firm attitude. Miss Zhangzhu's expression turned solemn as he reminded Shang Xinci. This personal guard represented the clan leader of the Jin clan. This matter could be both big or small, and it could turn serious if it was handled improperly. Shang Xinci glanced at Zhangzhu and nodded her head to indicate she understood. "Actually, I am also someone who loves flowers, and I can understand honorable clan leader's passion. We will hand over the Jinzan grass to your honorable clan with not even a stem missing. It makes one happy to see such a reasonable lady." The personal guard Gu master's expression relaxed and revealed a slight smile. Shang Xinci continued, "A subordinate of mine was in charge of this transaction. I will call him over." Fang Yuan had already been paying attention to the activity here. "Hey too, you are in trouble. Missy has called you." Xiao Dai had come to summon him. Fang Yuan soon appeared in front of the personal guard and cupped his fists. "I am the one who was responsible for the transaction of Jinzan grass. I heard the honorable clan leader wants to buy them back." The personal guard was surprised to see the newcomer was actually a mortal. His face immediately revealed a slight disdain and arrogance that he snorted. That's right. Mortal, you can relax. Lord Clan Leader is benevolent and is willing to use 3,000 primeval stones to buy back the 3 carts of Jinzan grass on you. So much. Xiao Dai was speechless and her gaze revealed her joy. Zhang Zhu frowned before gradually relaxing. 3,000 primeval stones should be the maximum market price for the Jinzan grass. And this showed Jin Clan Leader's sincerity. However, Fang Yuan shook his head. Jinzan grass is very precious. Only 3,000 primeval stones to buy them back. This doesn't seem to be sincere, right? The personal guard immediately frowned. What? The price I am giving is much higher than the maximum market price of the Jinzan grass. Mortal, what price did you buy it for? Fang Yuan rubbed his nose. Let's not discuss about the purchase price. We are all businessmen. Naturally, we will buy low and sell high. 3,000 primeval stones are too less. I am not selling. You. The personal guard clenched his teeth before eventually showing 5 fingers. All right, then I will rise it by 2,000. 5,000 primeval stones. Xiao Dai's eyes widened in shock. Her face started to flush with excitement as she looked at the 5 stretched fingers of the personal guard. 5,000 primeval stones? This is what you said. You can't go back on it. She was almost jumping in excitement. She hadn't thought the situation would develop like this. Fang Yuan had profited huge. However, Fang Yuan still shook his head. The personal guard's expression turned cold as he threatened. Mortal, don't you think you are being greedy? These Jinzan grass were originally our clan's goods. You privately exchanged for them, which is already not permitted. You don't even have any evidence of transaction. I can even say you secretly stole them. Zhang Zhu was taken aback by the personal guard's anger. He looked at Fang Yuan. Just sell it. Fang Yuan laughed. You sold them. I bought. This was mutual consent. What more? It was your young master who sold them to me. I can't do anything if you are determined to say I stole them. Jin Clan is so rich and powerful that it can bully the weak and rob our goods. Humph. The goods are just there. Why don't you go take them? It is just that as far as I know. It is not just me who bought the Jinzan grass. Many others have a share of it. Is Jin Clan going to snatch all of theirs too? Fang Yuan had already expected this situation. Thus he only bought a large majority yesterday night. The remaining Jinzan grass were sold to others by that Gu master. You. The personal guard was furious, but he could only clench his teeth at Fang Yuan's blatant extortion. He pointed at Fang Yuan. Your clan bought the most. You little brat. You want to make it hard for me? Of course not. I am only trying to make a transaction. Fang Yuan cupped his hands. Forget it. I will put 2,000 more, 7,000 primeval stones. Mortal, bring all the Jinzan grass you bought. The personal guard shouted. Hey too, just sell it. We need to pay attention to amiability while doing business. Shang Xinci couldn't endure this pressure. Since Miss has spoken, Fang Yuan nodded his head before immediately changing the subject. Then I will take back a step. 8,000 primeval stones, and all the Jinzan grass I have is yours. The moment these words came out, Shang Xinci and the rest all became dazed. The personal guard came back to his senses, unable to contain his anger. What? You bastard. Fang Yuan, however, had a smile on his face. Business is business. Please don't get angry, Lord Gu Master. Actually, I was thinking of selling them for 10,000 primeval stones. If Lord Gu Master can't decide it, how about letting me discuss with your honorable clan's clan leader? No need. The personal guard swung his arm as he looked at Fang Yuan with extreme disgust. You, a mortal, what qualifications do you have to meet Lord Clan Leader? Bring the goods quickly, taking advantage of others when they are down. I will remember you. His words, no doubt, meant he acceded to Fang Yuan's raised price. The two finished the transaction in moments. Fang Yuan hadn't even used 500 primeval stones to buy them. But in just one night, the Jinzan grass changed hands for 8,000 primeval stones. Miss, there are 2 trunks filled to the brim with primeval stones. Xiao Dai was beaming with joy. She had witnessed the whole transaction process in fear. But now that she looked at these primeval stones, she felt that it was all worth it. Even her gaze towards Fang Yuan changed. Did you already know? That can't be it. This should just be the case of a blind cat coming across a dead mouse. She looked at Fang Yuan from top to bottom and remarked, Offending the Jin clan for just 8,000 primeval stones is not worth it. Zhang Zhu had been frowning from the start. He looked at Fang Yuan with some discontent and warned, "Never take such a risk again." Fang Yuan only smiled and turned towards Shang Xinci. "According to our previous contract, Miss will get half of this 8,000 primeval stones, and I request Miss to safeguard my half of the share too. Has it been settled?" Jin clan leader stood on a hill, watching the leaving caravan. Dan Elder was standing to his side and reported, "Yes, clan leader. We have bought back all the Jinzan grass. It is just that Zhang clan is truly hateful for taking advantage of the situation to extort us." Jin clan's clan leader's brows furrowed. "Oh, speak." The elder elaborated on the details. Jin clan's clan leader smiled. "It is just 8,000 primeval stones. No need to care. That Zhang clan's lady, however, is intelligent. She pushed out a mortal servant to sound out the situation and earned herself this money." "Lord clan leader, what if this Zhang clan already knows our clan's secret and thus took advantage to extort us?" "Ha ha, don't be overly suspicious. If they knew the importance of the Jinzan grass to my clan, why would they only extort mere 8,000 primeval stones? They would buy them all or even not agree to sell them. But just in case, send some Gu masters to watch them till they completely leave Huangjin Mountains region. Make sure to watch if there are anyone who tries to secretly go to Huang clan. If there are, kill them on the spot." The clan leader's killing intent overflowed all around him as he said this. The elder's mind trembled. "As you command, Lord clan leader." Fang Yuan glanced back at the Huangjin mountain. His lips curled up in a smile. Not far away in a carriage, Shang Xinci lifted open the curtains and gazed at Fang Yuan's back. Her beautiful eyes flashed with light, having fallen into deep thought. Chapter 245, Rank 2 Upper Stage. The caravan crossed mountains and valleys as they traveled west. Half a month later, the caravan arrived at Hanmu Mountain, which had a lot of weird-looking trees. Fang Yuan sold half of his goods to buy a lot of these special wood. 20 days later, they arrived at Jiu Mountain. The mountain was full of bumps and craters. These bumps were all made by the falling raindrops. This place, once it rained, raindrops as large as wine vats fell and formed huge craters in the ground. Thus, the Tong clan of Jiu Mountain was built in the empty caves inside the mountain. If it was an open construct, it would be easily devastated by the rain. In Tong clan village, the golden lamp oil that Fang Yuan bought on Huangjin Mountain was very popular. During their stay, it rained 3 times. Fang Yuan thus acquired many blue oil raindrops. These raindrops were a type of material for many different purposes. These giant raindrops were the Tong clan village's misfortune that forced them to live inside the mountain caves. But it was also their source of income. After leaving Jiu Mountain, the caravan arrived at Fangzhuan Mountain. The rocks on this mountain were peculiar. Each were cube-shaped, varying in size and thickness. The Fang clan was a large-scale clan that had been living on Fangzhuan Mountain for over 1,000 years. Their residences were made of tiles, much better than the condition at Tong clan village. Tall, large walls were constructed around the village, and within the walls were defense towers, while outside the walls were pillboxes. Fang Yuan remembered that at the Fang clan, there was an eccentric elder that liked wood carvings. After contacting him, all the weird and creepy soul wood he collected on Hanmu Mountain were sold to this clan elder. Just like this, on this journey, with Fang Yuan's manipulation, his goods increased and decreased at times. But each time there was a change, he earned a ton of profit. Once he did this many times, it naturally attracted people's attention. Fang Yuan pushed everything to Shang Xinci, and rumors of her business talent started to circulate. Time flew by quickly. After another 4 villages, the caravan gradually got close to Shaoyu Mountain. This night, the caravan made a temporary camp near a cliff. "We have entered Shaoyu Mountain's territory. The remaining journey is all uninhabited mountains and valleys. Goo worms and beasts roam free, and not even a hamlet exists. From tonight onwards, everyone has to place their full attention on the surroundings." Jia clan's leader instructed. In the tent, many vice leaders nodded in agreement. Shang Xinci's eyes shone with bright light. This was the most dangerous segment of the caravan's route. Once they passed this, they would reach Shuelei Mountain, and after that, they would have to travel past a few more clan villages before reaching Shangliang Mountain Shang clan city. "All right, next we will establish our defensive measures." Jia clan's leader continued. An hour later, the discussion ended and everyone left the tent. Zhang Zhu came up immediately. Miss, dinner has been prepared. Do we invite He Tu and Bai Yun to dine together again? Of course. Shang Xinci nodded. I have to ask him about his experiences in trading during the banquet. These few days, Fang Yuan's revenue greatly exceeded his losses, earning 5 to 6 times the profits after few trades. This caused Shang Xinci, Zhang Zhu, and Xiao Dai, who knew the truth, to look at him in a different light. According to the agreement, Fang Yuan gave half the earnings to Shang Xinci, but to her, these primeval stones could not compare to his business experience and understanding. She did not have any cultivation talent, and as a mortal, engaging in business was her proudest ability. But, in this aspect where she could be proud of herself, Fang Yuan displayed a strength which she could not help, but admit was far superior to her. Many seemingly absurd decisions gave surprising results after the deal was completed. Shang Xinci was not someone who would give up on herself, and after knowing this difference in ability, she invited him to the dinner banquet daily. A few words of advice from Fang Yuan could benefit her greatly. Her talent in business was outstanding, and she absorbed the knowledge like a sponge, growing rapidly. The more she interacted with Fang Yuan, the more she admired him. Miss, you have to be careful. These two obviously have their own stories. They are not ordinary people. Zhang Zhu sighed with worry. He was afraid Shang Xinci was sinking deeper into this. Don't worry, Uncle Zhang Zhu. I know what I am doing. Shang Xinci was indeed intelligent and smart. She never spoke to Fang Yuan about matters outside of business. She knew what could be said and what could not, never trying to probe further than she was supposed to. She felt that Fang Yuan and Bai Ningbing might be mysterious, but they were not dangerous. Fang Yuan used proper techniques in his business trading, and he didn't go back on his words, splitting half the profits with Shang Xinci. Unknowingly, such behavior gave Shang Xinci much feeling of assurance. However, Fang Yuan did not accept the invitation to banquet this time. I am feeling a little tired today. I will not be going. He waved his hand at Xiao Dai, who came to invite him. Fang Yuan did not accept every single invitation from Shang Xinci, normally only accepting 1 out of 3 invitations. Xiao Dai pouted as she looked at Fang Yuan begrudgingly, muttering under her breath and leaving. Previously, when Fang Yuan rejected the invitation, Xiao Dai made a scene several times, feeling indignant for her Mississippi. But the more Fang Yuan earned, the more Xiao Dai's attitude changed, from indignant to accommodating and helplessness. No matter which world it was, at whatever level of society, strength was what gained respect. Fang Yuan shut the tent. Bai Ningbing had already sat on one of the beds. In the darkness, her blue eyes shone slightly. When Fang Yuan first rejected Xiao Dai, she was still a little surprised, but after a few times, Bai Ningbing found out the brilliance of this action. As the saying went, one who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. Fang Yuan rejecting this invitation and not accommodating to Shang Xinci gave the young girl the feeling that he had nothing to gain from her. Let's start. Fang Yuan sat down on the bed as well with his back facing Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing spread out both palms and placed them on Fang Yuan's back. 10% of her snow-silver primeval essence flowed through her palms into Fang Yuan's body. Bone-flesh unity goo shone with green and red light respectively, converting the primeval essence. 6% of snow-silver primeval essence entered Fang Yuan's aperture. Splash, splash, splash. Fang Yuan's thoughts entered his aperture and used these primeval essence to nurture his aperture walls. When he was rank 1, his aperture could not take the impact of the snow-silver primeval essence, but now that he was rank 2 middle stage, his aperture walls had a stronger foundation now and could endure it. Only that this could not last for a long time, and he needed to rest every once in a while. The light waves on the aperture walls flowed constantly. The white light grew stronger as some areas started to condense. Evidently, Fang Yuan was a step away from rank 2 upper stage. With his rich cultivating experience, Fang Yuan had something like a gauge in his mind. He planned to break through to rank 2 upper stage in one go. Time passed, and it was already late at night. Suddenly, howling of the Grey Wolf King could be heard. The howl broke the silence of the camp, and soon after, numerous wolf howled in response to their king. Wolf assault! Wolf assault! Damn it! Get up! The wolf pack is attacking camp. So many gray wolves, I can't even count how many there are. Many people screamed in shock, waking up everyone else in the camp. Everyone was riled up. Hey, hearing this volume, it seems the wolf pack is quite large. Bai Ningbing listened and laughed. In the caravan's journey, They met many beast groups attack, and now she wasn't shocked anymore. This is Shayu Mountain. Some people say the entire southern border wolves live here. During a full moon, the wolf packs will gaze at the round moon, and the wolf howls can cause the entire mountain to tremble and shake. This is only our first night, and we already encountered a gray wolf pack. Our luck is terrible. Fang Yuan opened his eyes slightly, but multitasked and did not stop the cultivating in his aperture. Damn it, there are too many wolves. Healing Gu Master, where are the Healing Gu Masters? My father is injured. He is bleeding a lot. The southeast direction's defense has been broken through. Go reinforce them quickly. The situation was more severe than Bai Ningbing had predicted. After discovering the wolf pack, in just a few minutes, the first line of defense in the camp was broken through, and the wolves broke into the camp. Take up your weapons and fight these beasts. Servants screamed as sounds of battle and shouting continued. Do we go out? Bai Ningbing asked. For what? What can you do? Don't forget your identity. After a moment of silence, Fang Yuan replied nonchalantly. But the wolves are already charging here. The goods you just purchased might be damaged. Bai Ningbing laughed, showing glee in her tone. Then let them be damaged. Fang Yuan closed his eyes again. After a while, Xiao Dai's voice came from outside the tent. Hey two. Are you two in there? What's the matter? Bai Ningbing asked. Oh my god, you are still here? Such a loud commotion, and you didn't even wake up. Many gray wolves entered the camp. Although the situation is under control, there might be some wolves left out. Miss is asking you to go over. With Lord Zhangzhu to protect us, it will be safer. Xiao Dai shouted. No need. Since the situation is under control, we shall not impose on your Mississippi. I can handle a gray wolf or two with my physical strength. Fang Yuan replied. Xiao Dai urged some more, but was still rejected. Finally, she stomped her feet outside the tent. Ungrateful bunch. Don't blame me for not reminding you if you die. Humph. Saying so, she hurriedly left. The gray wolves continued to attack for 15 minutes before retreating. This beast group assault brought the greatest loss the caravan had suffered since their establishment. 3 Gu masters died in battle, over a dozen injured. Countless servants died, and most of the goods were damaged. Especially Zhang clan's goods, they received the most damage. These goods were all borrowed by Fang Yuan, and at first estimation, Fang Yuan lost over 1,000 primeval stones in this one night, when it was daylight, and they calculated the losses. He showed a bitter smile but did not mind it at all, because last night, he had advanced to rank 2 upper stage. Only spending just a few months, this cultivation speed was shocking even to Bai Ningbing who knew the method.